Hey guys, it's Mr. Regame. Today we're going to look at slicing three-dimensional figures or 3D figures. So basically we're going to take these three-dimensional figures and we're going to slice them. Imagine that you had a piece of fruit, an orange or a watermelon, and you took your knife and you just cut it right in half, and then you opened it up and you looked at what shape that made. That's what we're looking at here, except we're not going to use fruit, we're going to use mathematical three-dimensional figures. So we want to find that shape that you're going to see after you slice it open. Alright, so let's start with a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism, remember prisms have all rectangular faces, and this is a rectangular prism because the bases are rectangles. Alright, so we have a nice rectangular prism. We take that prism and we slice it horizontally. So that white paper, imagine that's what's slicing this prism in half. What shape am I going to see when I open up those two halves? Okay, think about what you think it's going to be. Well, turns out it's going to be a rectangle. There it is right there. So when I slice it in half horizontally, the shape that opens up is a rectangle. All right, same rectangular prism, but this time we're going to slice it vertically. So once again, think about what's that shape going to be when we open it up. Think about it. Well, turns out to be a rectangle again. All right, so we're going to see a rectangle either way. All right, now we have a triangular prism. So once again, prisms, they're made up of rectangles, and the name comes from the bases. So it's a triangular prism, so the bases are triangles. In this picture, the top and the bottom are where the bases are. Remember, bases are always parallel to each other. All right, so if I take this triangular prism and I slice it horizontally, what are we going to see when we open that up? Well, we're going to see a triangle. There it is. All right, how about a cylinder? A cylinder is not a prism because we're talking about the bases are circles. Think of like a coffee can or a soup can, something like that. All right, so we're going to first slice this cylinder horizontally. All right, think about what you think that shape's going to look like. And you probably guessed it. It's going to be a circle. All right, same cylinder. This time we're going to go vertically and slice it. What do you think that shape's going to be? And think about this one for a second. It's going to be a rectangle. Yep, not a circle, a rectangle. All right, then we have our pyramid. Pyramid has, in this example, a rectangular base, and then the faces of a pyramid are made up of triangles. All right, so we're going to take that pyramid and slice it horizontally. What do we think that is going to do? It's going to make a rectangle. And that's because of the rectangular base. All right, the last three-dimensional figure we're going to look at is a cone. You are familiar with these ice cream cones. If I take that cone that has a circle base at the bottom and I slice it horizontally, what am I going to see? And I'm sure you guessed that. I'm going to see a circle. All right, so we're just taking different three-dimensional objects, prisms, pyramids, cones, things like that, cylinders. We're slicing them, and then we're going to determine what that shape is. Now, where this is going to lead is, once we know what shape that's going to be, then finding out what the area of that shape is. Or then taking the two shapes, once you slice it, if you take a cylinder and slice it in half horizontally, you have two cylinders. Maybe finding the volume of those two cylinders. Or the same thing with a prism. If I slice a rectangular prism horizontally, I'm going to be left with two prisms. Find the volume of those two prisms. So that's where it's all going to lead. But first, we have to know what these shapes are that it makes. All right, good luck, guys.